On today's Live Daily News, first responders mourn the loss of a beloved firefighter. An update on the Park 2400 murder trial going on in Tom Green County and how the weather will look this weekend. Plus, the COVER1 Hoops Awards Show. All this plus more. I'm Yantis Green and this is Live. But first, during heartbreak times of loss, don't let funeral homes overcharge you to honor your loved ones. Two locally owned funeral homes in San Angelo, Robert Massey and Harper Funeral Homes, offer obituaries on San Angelo Live. Other media sites, like that old newspaper, could charge you $200, $300, even $400 for an obit. Here at San Angelo Live, it is a low price of $30. Plus, what happens when you're done with that newspaper? It likely goes in the trash. At San Angelo Live, obits last forever and are there at the click of a button. So make sure when thinking of who to call, remember those who support local businesses. That's Robert Massey Funeral Home and Harper Funeral Home. Give them a call today. And now we wait. A jury in Tom Green County is currently deliberating on whether or not Joe Angel Trevino murdered Jason Garavay. All week long, we've given you updates from the trial in the courthouse. Throughout the week, we've heard countless testimony from various law enforcement officers, doctors, witnesses, and even the defendant himself. Now the jury will decide his fate. If he is convicted, Trevino could spend the rest of his life in prison. If not, he is a free man. Stay tuned to San Angelo Live as we have reporters in the courtroom who will update this story once a verdict is reached. Other news, first responders are mourning after the loss of a beloved firefighter, Bill Four of Brady. In a statement, the city of Brady said, "Our dear friend, colleague, and firefighter EMT Bill Four passed away at 1:15 Thursday afternoon in Shannon Hospital in San Angelo, surrounded by loved ones. Bill will be transported to San Antonio, where he will continue to save lives through the gift of organ donation. After giving the gift of life, Bill will be escorted home to Brady. Services are pending there. The Brady Fire Department and City of Brady would like to extend their deepest gratitude to Mason EMS, San Angelo Fire Department, Fredericksburg Fire Department, the Abilene Fire Department, the Salvation Army, local residences and businesses that have stepped up to support them all during this difficult time. Please wrap Bill's family in love and prayers." Here at San Angelo Live, we send our best wishes to everyone affected. As for weather over the weekend, here in the Concho Valley, we'll have two different scenes Saturday and Sunday. Tomorrow, it'll be warm and windy, while on Sunday, it will be a lot cooler. On Saturday, expect highs in the 90s with gusty winds in the 30-mile-per-hour range and above. Moving on to Sunday, temperatures will be cooler. Highs will only be in the 70s with lows in the 40s. There will be a little wind, but nothing to be too concerned about on Sunday. Also, just so you don't forget on Sunday, make sure to move those clocks ahead an hour as daylight savings time begins Sunday. And now here is the 2023 COVER1 Hoops Award Show presented by Jim Bass Ford.
It's Truck Month at Jim Bass.
It's Truck Month, finally. And we have a great selection of trucks and cars.
And you can see it on the lot.
And rebates are back.
We all love rebates.
We also have low factory rates.
0%.
So it's the perfect time to buy your next new truck or car. Only at Jim Bass Cars and Trucks, Houston, Hart and Arden Road, or 24/7 at bassbunts.com.
And we are finally here, the end of the 2022-2023 Texas High School basketball season. It's come to an end, but there's still some things we got to get to. Now it's time for the fun part, a little bit of the awards. Before we get to that, though, I want to bring in my co-hosts here. We got James Blenny and Ryan Chadwick. Guys, what's going on?
What's going on, Matt? We're here.
We are
We're here.
Ready to
survived.
dish out those awards, you know?
There you
It's been
go.
a long season, but a fun season.
Exactly. So we did this for football. We said we're going to extend our coverage into basketball. So with that, we went ahead and extended our all-star teams into basketball. James, I know you've kind of been spearfronting trying to get all this, get all the stats and compiling all the lists and stuff like that. So what were kind of some of the things going into picking the teams that you felt were important?
Man, when we looked at stats, we looked at, obviously points per game. We looked at rebounds, assists, steals. But I also wanted to do, like, three-point shots made, which there are some pretty crazy numbers on that list there. And I wanted to look at, free throw percentage. I wanted just to kind of a well-rounded team, I get. That's what I was kind of looking for, well-rounded players. And, defensive stats are harder to, unless it's like a steals or something, but really, a good defensive player is, it doesn't really show up on the stat sheet as well as, somebody who scored 25 points a game.
Well,
that's obviously going to stick out.
That's the good thing of where the coaches' kind of submissions are too.
Right.
We asked some of the coaches. So Chadwick, why is it important to ask coaches? Of course, they know them better than anybody. But I mean, why do you think it's important to get the coaches say when we're picking this all-star team?
Well, first off, I think it gives the list a sense of legitimacy because we didn't only ask the coaches to nominate their own players, but we also got the coaches in these different districts around the Concho Valley to just talk about one or so players from a different team, saying who was it hard to game plan against, who always gave y'all a headache, and so we got a bunch of feedback on that as well. Like I said, gives our list a little bit more legitimacy there, other than just three guys who watch a lot of basketball voting on it,
Yep, definitely. So I think what we want to do first, before we get into announcing all the teams, I think we want to just go through some of the coaches first. Am I right?
Yeah, we can go through some of the coaches.
Is that? Do I have that right on my list?
I mean, that's fine. Like we can do it that way.
Or we can just start with the boys all-star team and go from there.
Well, before we want to get to all the teams, I want to go to an ad before we get through all the teams.
Sure
so let's just start with the coaches. So who are some of the coaches, guys, that were, even though let's not name the winners yet, let's kind of talk about some of the coaches that were even just up for grabs that maybe came up just a little bit short.
Okay.
Man,
go ahead, Jim.
Okay. There were a couple coaches who were first-year coaches who were in the area who, took their team to the playoffs. And, I can think of a couple, like Coach Butts out in Miles and Coach Barnes out in Miles. They both made the playoffs, and they both had really good runs with their team. And you have coaches who are the athletic director and the head football coach and the head basketball coach. And it's like, I don't know how you'd even have time for anything else at that point. I mean, as a coach already, you're sacrificing time with your family to be a coach. So just doing that is an incredible, it's just really, really incredible that they have that much time on their hands to do it. And they kind of just, I don't know, it's just kind of part of it. We talked to other coaches and we asked, what do you think about these guys, who have you coached against? And they're good football coaches who carried over into basketball, and they're just, yeah.
Yes. So, what about you, Chadwick? What was one of these coaches that maybe you thought was going to be on the list that maybe just didn't make it?
Honestly, I was pulling real hard for head coach Arsenio Jeter for the Central Lady Cats. He was in his first year as the Lady Cats head coach, and they went on that tear on the back half of district. They dropped the first two district games. They didn't lose again until they lost in the playoffs. Their season came to an abrupt end by that buzzer beater from Pebble Hills to send it to overtime, and then another buzzer beater to beat them. So that was a good team. Coach Jeter had those girls ready to play every single week. So that was definitely one of the ones that I was putting forward. But yeah, so anytime that there's a new coach that did well, I know Coach Brady Clark out in Christoval, he was another one like that. Just all around newcomers that just brought a team together.
All right, well, let's go ahead and talk about it. Y'all want to announce the coaches?
We'll go through the All-Star coaches real quick. We have our boys All-Star coach was Kyle Brown out in Reagan County. He is the athletic director, the head football coach, head basketball coach. He's one of those guys that does everything. And luckily, I think 2 of his kids are on the team, so you get some parenting and some coaching in there at the same time. Usually that's the same thing, though. And then for the girls, it's Brady Clark from Christoval. that guy, I don't know how he had no seniors on his team. It was his first year there, and he took them 3 rounds deep and lost Newhome. I think Newhome is at the state championship, won state championships.
They did, yeah.
So, I mean, that's an incredible feat right there. Just to have, and he knew these girls, but he was at Cristobal at one point, and then he left and came back. But he wasn't the head coach. He came back and he was the head coach, and just to take a team that doesn't have all that extra starting experience and take them like he did, that is really, really an incredible thing. That's why we decided to give him that all-star coach.
And this was a team with 0 expectations to start the year too, so that's kind of what I was talking about. It's one of these newcomer head coaches that kind of just had a rough shot a squad together that really came together, like the game plan that he put forth for these ladies to excel every week. So congratulations to both these coaches. But yeah, that's one of the reasons why I put Brady Clark forward as well.
All right, well, head coach of Reagan County and head coach of Cristobal is the winner of the COVER1 All-Star Coaches of the Year. We want to say congratulations to those guys. Guys, don't go anywhere because we still got a lot. We got to name 3 All-Star teams, an MVP, and some more stuff. So stay tuned. We'll be right back after this message.
We all know it's super hard to find super duties. They are few and far between. But right now, you can actually find a great selection at Jim Bass. And it's perfect because it's Truck Month. So why not take advantage of the Ford Factory incentives and our great selections and make it the place to buy your next truck. Jim Bass Cars and Trucks, Houston Hardin Road, or 24/7 at bassbunch.com.
All right, we're back. Thank you, Jim Bass, for sponsoring this COVER1 Awards show. It's always good to have an awards show, and who knows awards better than Jim Bass, because that's the #1 truck in Texas. All right, moving on. We're going to go to the All-Star team. So with that, James, take it away.
All right, we're going to start with the boys All-Star team. First up, we got Drew Sherrill from TLCA. Fantastic kid, great player for him there. Everson Armstrong from Wall. Obviously, everybody knows he signed with ASU earlier in the year. Jarrett Brown from Reagan County. This list would have not have been legit if we didn't include some Reagan County Owls. They had such a fantastic season down there. Jerron Slayton from Cristobal. He signed with Victoria College there, and during the season, and he had like 42 points against Sonora in the first game I saw. Just a great player there. Haven Book from Miles. He's another great player for and then Colin Albright from San Angelo Central. They're big guy down there. Onto the girls' side though, Callie Briley from Very Best. I think she averaged like 18 points during the season. Hallie Hughes from Cristobal. I talked to Brady Clark. He said she was a joy to have. I think she tore ACL last year, and now she's a sophomore too, so she's got a couple more years of being a great player for him. Cameron Williams from Wall, good defensive player for him. Lola Weisenhunt from Brady, Melanie Rainey from Erie County, and Navia Harn from Central. And then our MVP for the boys, Trevin Koffel from Erie County. Man, that guy turned it on when he needed to the most in the biggest games. Carried himself excellent on the court, off the court. He's just a great player. And a lot of other coaches said the same things, that he is, he's one of the better players that they've coached against. And then for the girls, Robbie Martinez from El Dorado. I think she had 124 three-point shots, averaged 23 points a game, and she shot like 90% from the free throw line, or 87% from the free throw line, which is pretty much automatic. Just a great player there. And then, of course, our coaches, Kyle Brown and Brady Clark.
Right on. So that's going to be our all-star team. That's like the top team. That's what you want to strive for. That's a good list right there, full of them. But we still have 2 more teams to get to. For the first team, let's go to Ryan Chadwick. Chadwick, let's bust out this first team.
All right, first on that list would be Ogden Hallmark. He's one of the Wall Hawks. I believe that he made something like 91 threes this season. Next, we got Bo Morrow. It was basically Trevin Koffel's other half out there at Erie County. Anytime that Trevin Koffel started slow, Bo Morrow picked up the slack. We got Caleb Easterly from Water Valley. Averaged over 20 points a game. Again, anytime you're doing that at any level of basketball, that you're doing something right. Then we got the two brothers from Central. We got Christian English, or as we know him, Squeaky English, and Jacob English. They both made our first team. That dynamic duo was the main reason why the Bobcats won any games at all. You know, we had Colin Albright on the inside, and you had the brothers on the outside, and Squeaky also played point guard for the Bobcats. And then lastly, last two, we got Jaden Villanueva from TLCA. Again, basically the other half of Drew Sherrill out there, and Kason Brown from Reagan County. We got a bunch of 1-2 punches on that first team. And of course, for the girls, we had Brylan Watts from Wall, the sophomore, averaged the most points on her team that year. We have Cora Blackwell from Very Best, another 1-2 punch, along with Callie Briley. Jules Perez from San Angelo Central didn't score as many points as Nevia Harn this year, but was a presence on the defensive side. We also have Logan Prater from El Dorado, Madison George from Cristoval, Mia Davidson from Ozona, and of course Rayleigh Garza also from Ozona. And that Ozona team was one of the state-ranked teams this year as well.
Yeah, I know. Both the boys and girls had a really good season for them. Chadwick, who are your coaches?
Coaches, first team head coach would be John Morrow from Erie County. Of course, almost made it to that state tournament, made all the way to the regional semifinals. Coach Morrow, excellent year for those guys out there. And on the other side of that, it's the other Erie County coach. This coach actually made it all the way to the state semifinals. Made it to San Antonio in that state game. That is Coach Jacob Connor for Erie County. Congratulations, guys.
All right, and moving on to our Moving on to our second team. Of course, you know, if you're not an All-Stars, you're not a first team, don't worry. The second team is still full of really good athletes. And when I read this list of the boys athletes, you'll notice that you'll be hearing a lot of these names on Friday nights as well. These are just some of the best athletes that are going around here in the Concho Valley. First, we got Carson Ellison from Miles. Then Garrett Everett from Brady. Jaden Gibson, Central Bobcat. Johnny Monreal, Sterling City Eagles. Sebastian Salinas from Cristobal. Yeah, sorry about that.
No, you're right.
And Shelton Petrie from Miles. Tony Cabrera, Lakeview Chiefs. Lakeview Chiefs getting a little nod on that one. Head coach for them, of course, is Kent Sherrill. He won the Coach of the Year for his district. Love Cover1 second team Coach of the Year. Moving on to the girls, Addison Martin from Ballinger, Addie Easterwood from Brady, Alyssa Barron, San Angelo Central Lady Bobcat, Hannah Burke, Wall Lady Hawk, Jayla Williams from Sonora, KK Hart, Erie County Lady Hornet, and Kaylee Elliott from Miles. The second team coach is going to be Tom Briley from Very Best. Guys, are y'all feeling pretty good about our list so far?
Yeah, there were several occasions where me and James were just debating in the office going, well, I don't care how many points they scored, like how much impact they have on the team. So,
Exactly.
These lists are always fun to put together. We didn't argue as much as we did in football, but I think this is a pretty comprehensive list. And again, these were nominations from these head coaches as well. So,
And there's only 20, well, we did 7 players. There's only 21 players, and there's how many basketball players in the Concho Valley?
There's probably over 200.
Right.
I mean, our core 27 times 10, 270. There's almost 300 men and women.
So
around
yeah, just because you didn't make this doesn't mean you're not a good basketball player at all. You know,
it's a hard list to make. I'll tell you what.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So this has been the All-Star list. We got a few more things coming up, including our honorable mentions, our Dogs of the Year, and of course the top 5 programs in the Concho Valley of this past year. But first, here's a message from Jim Bass, Ford and Trucks.
I'm going to get straight to the point. We have trucks, and a really good selection of trucks. We have factory rebates, we have low interest rates that'll make for low payments, and then the real kicker is they're discounted too. It's the perfect time to buy a new truck at Jim Bass Ford. Don't miss this. Only at Jim Bass Ford, Houston Hart and Hardin Road, or 24/7 at bassbunch.com.
All right, and we are back just like that. Now it's time for some honorable mentions, just in case you guys were thinking, man, y'all left some guys out. Well, don't worry. There were a few that we wanted to mention, even though they weren't on the teams. I'm going to start with Hayden Schmidt from San Angelo Central. Made a big impact this year. Also, Luis Casillas from San Angelo TLCA. There were so many TLCA Eagles that were good this year. It was impossible to fit them all on these 3 lists. And also Ty Turner, Sterling City Eagles. I think that's going to wrap it up for our boys' honorable mentions. Chadwick, you want to take away for the girls?
Yep, I got you. First on that list is Anna Where's Wiki. And I've butchered that name so many times on the news this year, Anna. But congratulations. She was one of the defensive forces on the Bobcats this year. We also have Jordan Walker from Cristoval and Sydney Moore, also from the San Angelo Central Bobcats. The Bobcats were in one of those weird situations where they had a very core group of girls that pretty much did the exact same across the board. So felt like it was bad to leave even one of them out.
Yeah, I'm in with that. And then we got some dogs of the year. This is James's favorite segment. I know earlier in the year it was kind of a sympathetic, I guess, kind of thing of we had it, but this time was a little bit different. This is about literally who was the dog. So James, who were the dogs of the year?
Our dogs of the year. We didn't give this to any one person this for basketball. We gave it to teams that decided we're gonna ruin someone else's season. The Ballinger Lady Bearcats are our girl dogs of the year. They went out, they beat Wall. It was kind of a revenge game because Jerry McSherry used to coach there at Wall, and now he coached there at Ballinger. Now he coaches at Wall, and
really start of a great rivalry too.
Yeah, and I feel like that game kind of like Wall had to take a step back to that one, and then. Who else? The Brady Bulldogs.
The real dog.
The real dogs.
The
down
real
there.
dogs.
Yeah.
I was at the game when they played TLCA in Sonora when they ended TLCA's season, and I'm not taking shots. TLCA is a great program, and I have a lot of respect for Coach Sherrill and all those kids.
We're a fun team to watch.
Yeah,
this year.
absolutely. I mean, I remember we put Jaden Villanueva. I mean, I think he was a surgeon. Like no lead was ever saved. Even if it was up by 4 points, he gets it. He chunks up a 3. It's a 1-point lead at that point. It was such a great game. But the Brady Bulldogs just dug deep, and pulled out the victory there. And
we're the dogs of the year.
They won. They win the boys' dogs of the year. So congratulations to y'all. And back to the football one, we gave it to Coach Bowles there at Water Valley. We have an update on Coach Bowles.
We do.
He is back in Water Valley. He's still going to Houston for treatments for cancer, but he is home now. So
things are looking up.
Thank goodness, man. That's such an awesome
right.
thing to have happen there. So.
Things have taken definitely a positive step forward in that, and so I'm glad you're home, Coach Bowles, and hopefully
I'm sorry
soon.
I was such a dick.
Yeah.
You know what? I think it may have been the Dog of the Year award, and so if
if
you're Brady and Ballinger ladies, you're gonna be hoping that this kind of rubs up on you. So. That's our Dogs of the Year. Moving on to the top 5 programs. This will kind of be our last little segment here. Top 5 programs in the Concho Valley. We cover 27 teams. That's our core 27. If you don't believe me, I have a list. There are 27 teams in the Concho Valley, and we had to narrow this down to 5. Guys, which one of y'all wants to start with the girls?
I will go ahead and take this one. And, of course, this doesn't take away from the fact of individual players on teams. These were just teams that basically came together as a program and had the most success. So, of course, first on that list is going to be the Erie County Lady Hornets. Made it all the way to the state semifinals in San Antonio. First time in program history. No one really picked them to go this far. They weren't even really state ranked before the season started, and they just kind of went on a tear and tore it up and just kept beating teams they shouldn't have and lost to very best early in the season, but it came back and beat them twice, once in district and then once in that regional final. Second, we got those very best Lady Falcons out there, and again, this was a state-ranked team that was expected to make it to the state tournament. They'd done it before, but they ran up against those Lady Hornets in the regional final and kind of got stopped flat. We got the Cristoval Lady Cougars next. Again, no seniors on that team at all. Completely consists of freshmen, sophomores, and juniors. First-year head coach as well, and they still made it to the third round of the playoffs. Congratulations, ladies. It was an incredible season. We got Ozona, winners of their district. Other teams in their district, of course. Is that Miles or is that Cristoval's district?
That's Ozona's Cristoval's district.
Cristoval's district. Okay, yeah. So they had teams like Cristoval and Sterling City and Sterling City's 3A. Y'all know what I'm saying.
Sterling City was in their district too.
Okay, all right, yeah. But anyway, state ranked team. Too many districts that I've been keeping up with, apparently. But this Ozona team won that district. Cristobal gave them a run for their money for a little while. Barely beat them in the first game, and then beat the Lady Cougars pretty soundly in the second game to clinch that district. So congratulations, Ozona. And of course, Wall. Wall started out the season in the top 10, dropped some two pretty close games to Jim Ned, and of course those Lady Indians made it pretty far in the playoffs as well. Made it to the third round of the playoffs, or second round of the playoffs this year, but fell to one of the teams that eventually would make that state tournament. So congratulations to the Wall Lady Hawks.
And that was our top 5 programs for girls right now in the Concho Valley for the 2022 and 2023 season. James, you want to wrap it up with the boys' top programs?
All right. Top program for the boys, Reagan County. I keep hearing Owls are better. I keep seeing that all over my Facebook because I'm mutual friends with one of the coaches out there. Owls are better, and they proved it this year. Kason and Jarrett Brown were both fantastic players for them, and they had a whole bunch of other players too that they ended up making the regional tournament. The other team in the Concho Valley made the regional tournament, that they're a 6-man team, but that's no different, or 1A team, I guess. Erie County. John Morrow did fantastic things. They were ranked really highly at one point. And of course, Trevin Koffel, Jordan Harrison, Bo Morrow, Tyler Henderson, Wyatt Morris, all those guys are just tremendous players. Went up against the Buzzsaw. They're at Benjamin, and Benjamin's actually at state. So no shame there. They're a good team. On to the next, Cristobal. Matt Lowry is the coach there. Lowry is the coach. They had Jerron Slayton, Sebastian Salinas, Landon Scott, Ethan Bush, a whole bunch of good players on their team. Slayton's really just, again, he signed with Victoria College. He's a very good player. Sebastian probably deserves to have some recognition too. So some of these programs out here need to start, going 20 miles south of San Angelo, going and talking to the Salinas kid out there. And then San Angelo TLCA, y'all were incredible to watch this year, incredibly fun to watch this year. And it ended probably prematurely more than you wanted it to, but again, Drew Sherrill, Jaden Villanueva, Luis Casillas, the Oveda brothers, y'all were just incredible to watch. The band was cool at Sonora. You blacked out Wall, and when you went to Wall, you had tremendous fans. And Coach Sherrill is an incredible guy. He's awesome to talk to. He still has my shirt, by the way, my TLCA shirt. Yeah, just because you got bounced don't mean I don't get my shirt. And then the Miles Bulldogs, they made it 2-3 rounds deep in the playoffs. First year coach under Coach Butts out there, who's just your old school West Texas coach. Haven Book is out there. He's a junior, so he's going back. And they just great season by those guys.
Yep, and that was the top 5 programs in the Concho Valley for the boys. Good list there. Chadwick, what are you feeling about Central not being on either one of those lists?
I mean, the Bobcats, I would make an argument that the Lady Cats definitely could have been on that list. In fact, I almost guarantee you they would have if they wouldn't have gotten bounced in the first round by 2 straight buzzer beaters. So I will say for the Bobcats, they were streaky at times this season. Like, they were really good in some areas and really bad in others. Like they basically got into situations where they couldn't put teams away. They're usually leading in the fourth quarter and just couldn't quite finish them off. And you know me, I'm the biggest supporter of the Central Bobcats there is, but they had a successful year. They made it to the playoffs. I still think that they should have gotten second place in that district when everything was said and done.
They could have.
Yeah, but again,
shoulda, woulda, coulda. They literally could have.
Yeah. This is a team that's going to be returning a lot of players next year, and of course, some of their best players are coming back.
Their best players definitely come back. So.
Yeah, so this team has a bright future ahead of them. Let's see if we can't be a little bit better next year, but I still say it's a successful season for the Bobcats. Made the playoffs in a very tough district.
And you're asking about one team when there's 27, and you have all these teams that made the regional tournament, made the state tournament, and even though they're smaller schools, hey, they still, they deserve to be recognized, and and I just straight
ball
up,
is ball.
I straight up apologize if we couldn't, it's a lot of ground to cover for 3 guys, and
Hey, we make it happen.
We could just
Yeah.
do better next year.
Shoot, I definitely drove over 2,000 miles during playoffs. So
Definitely.
we were burning the candle at both ends, doing our absolute best to make sure as much of the Concho Valley was covered as possible. But again, like if there's a player on here that you thought that y'all think that should have made this list that didn't, it was
Comment
just
below and tell
right.
us.
Yeah, just
Yeah.
let us know
Let us
because
know.
the only thing that we want to do is make all these kids in the Concho Valley look better. We're for the Concho Valley student athletes first always. So yeah, drop a comment if you don't agree, or if you do agree, you know, just tell these guys guys and gals congratulations.
Yeah, if you don't agree, talk to your coaches. Maybe they should send us stats.
Yeah, that is true. Some of these guys weren't on the list because we don't have any stats for them. If we don't have stats for them, we can't justify putting them ahead of other people, you know? So,
There you go.
coaches, send that stuff in.
Or max preps. Max
Yeah,
preps.
like on Max Preps, that will also work.
I can't tell you how many people made our football list because max preps. I
Yep.
mean that's our biggest help here when we're building these lists and having this type of fun with these. That's another thing. These lists are fun. They're you know it's a lot of fun. I had a lot of fun covering basketball. I had a lot of fun finding out and getting to know all these coaches, getting to know these kids a little bit better. You know, when you walk by some of them in the store and they say hi, how you doing? Like that's cool to me. Like I enjoy that. I enjoy helping kids, you know, move on to that next level. So I hope that some of these kids do. I hope some of them do go on and play at college and have some fun and maybe get some looks, and maybe we'll bring some attention to some kids that haven't gotten looks yet. That's exciting to think about.
Yep. All right. This has been the Cover One Awards Show. It's a wrap up of all the Cover One basketball that we've done all year. Of course, Ryan Chadwick and James Bellini, our main sports guy. I'm also a sports guy here, Matt Trammell. And for all of us here at Cover One, we may see you during baseball season. We may see you at the spring football game. But you know for sure you'll see us in fall for Cover One football. For all of us here, we will see you then.
See ya.